Hi, my name is Yemi.
And I'm Tox.
Are you thinking about retiring? Specifically, are you thinking about retiring in Ecuador? Well, one of your biggest decisions that you'll have to make is which climate. Ecuador is such a beautiful country that you get a choice between living in the Andes Mountains or living on the coast.
Today we'll break down both options.
Yes, we will.
Costs, lifestyle, weather, and community.
Yes, so before we begin, please go on ahead and tell us where you're watching from, and go on ahead and subscribe and hit that like button for us. So first we're going to go into the Andes Mountains. So two of the most popular and biggest spots in Ecuador in the Andes Mountains are probably places you've heard about before. Quito, which is the capital of the country, and Cuenca. Now, there's another smaller one, Loja. You may or may not have heard about it. So what's unique about the cities in the Andes Mountains? The temperature. It's typically cooler, right?
And they're usually in the 60s to 70s.
Yes,
so
yes.
It's like spring year round.
So you have the Andes, you've got the cooler temperatures, which means you have like spring-like temperature pretty much year round. Now, we have heard reports that sometimes it does get pretty cool and they may have seen dusting of snow. So we're trying to present you with all the information so you can make an informed choice of where you want to be. So some of the other cons is the altitude, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is very high in Quito and Cuenca, and for some people who have a breathing problem, that may be a problem. For example, we are both affected by the altitude, so we only get to spend a little amount of time in there, which explains why which somehow explains why we're on the coast most of the time.
Yes, yes. Why we love this Andes Mountain cities, all three, we've been to all three, we've spent considerable time in all three. We can only take the altitude just for a little bit. So if you're like us and you know you're affected by altitude, you may really want to reconsider, picking a place in the Andes Mountains.
Yes. So next we move to the coast. Guayaquil is probably the biggest city in Ecuador, so that's definitely will be there. Then
Where is the biggest?
Guayaquil.
Oh, Guayaquil.
Guayaquil,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And then there's Salinas and Manta. Those are fairly decent sized cities on the coast that that a lot of experts want to consider. So what is it about the coast? The climate. It is tropical. It gets a little warm. You're looking at between 70s and 80s most of the time, especially when it gets really hot in between December and May.
Yes.
It does tend to get a little bit cooler between June and November.
Yes. June and November. And for us that live on the coast, that's actually our favorite period of time because it's nice and cool, and we really do not have air conditioning where we live.
No.
Now, some expats, quite a lot of expats have air conditioners, but we do not. So we have to adapt to the change in the weather, and we're fine. Just simple fans kind of work for us, and we're okay with that. So of course the beach. So just watching the Pacific Ocean and the sunsets over the waters is just something to behold. So that's one of the reasons why we love it.
Yes.
Another reason is the seafood, the food. Let's talk about the seafood.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you're a seafood lover like we are, being on the coast is just amazing. It's an amazing experience because you have access to the freshest of seafood, and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Now, another cool thing about being on the coast is the relaxed vibe.
People from the big cities come to the coastal area just to take a breath.
And the major con of being on the coast, really, as we have said, is the temperature. It does tend to get a bit warm, especially from, again, December to June. It's a bit warm and humid. So
Yes.
if you don't like humidity, you probably don't want to look at that.
Yes, and the periods of time that Tokes just talked about, that's typically when they call the season rainy season. That's when we get a lot of rain, and with the rain comes a lot of humidity and a lot of bugs.
So what are lifestyle factors to consider?
So some of the lifestyle factors to consider when you make your choice is definitely your health. You know, we just kind of talked and laughed over the altitude, but let's be serious for a second.
It is a big problem.
It can be a significant problem for some people. If you already have pre-existing respiratory problems, or even some other conditions, you know, that affects how you breathe, how much oxygen your red blood cells can carry, please, you may truly want to reconsider choosing somewhere in the mountains, because the altitude takes a long time to adjust for some people, and some people just never adjust to it.
Yes.
And they end up having to move down towards sea level.
Yeah.
So if you have any health problems, especially any respiratory related problems, please reconsider and maybe perhaps look for other options.
Another lifestyle factor to consider is the budget. Now, we think that things are cheaper on the mountains than on the coast, because that's where most of the food come from.
Yeah, not think. I mean, we've literally rented places in the mountains, and we've seen the cost.
We've seen the cost, yes.
So we can say with a good degree of assurance that things are more expensive on the
Except for
coast.
seafood.
Well, except for seafood, yeah. So things tend to be more expensive on the coast, except for seafood. So things such as rent, I can tell you, we have friends who live in the mountains, and they have rented places for as low as $200. I haven't seen that here, and we live in a tiny coastal town. I don't think it's quite that cheap here.
No, it's not.
And also food, the cost of fresh fruits and vegetables, it is always cheaper in the mountains. I remember the first
From my
time.
experience, yes.
From my experience, not anything we read, not anything somebody else told us, from our lived experience. Because what we do when we travel to different parts of the country, we usually will stay and live like the locals do. We'll stay for about a month, and sometimes we'll extend it, and we'll shop in the same mercados that the locals are shopping, not the mercados the expats are shopping in, you know, but the mercados that the locals actually go.
Yeah.
And food is cheaper.
It is cheaper.
Food is definitely cheaper. Rent is cheaper, you know, so I mean, you just have to look at what your other items on your budget is.
Yes. Another lifestyle factor to consider is your level of activities. Do you like to go hiking in the mountains where the air is fresher and cooler, or do you like to stroll on the Malecon or on the beach, enjoying and capturing the setting sun? You have options.
Yes, you do.
So for those of you who are watching us and thinking, okay, I don't like this and I don't like that, why should I come to Ecuador? There is a middle ground option.
But wait, we have another option for you. So there are those places that some of the expats call Goldilocks. I don't know why they term it that, but
Because it's not too hot and not too cold.
okay, so
See?
those are the Goldilocks option. So you have those towns that have been growing in great popularity in recent years, where they're not technically in the coast, and they're definitely not in the coast, and they're not technically.
They are like lower part of the mountain.
Lower part
so
of the
yeah,
mountains.
like Vilcabamba, Cotacachi, Santo Domingo.
Yes.
Those are places that are down on the bottom of the mountain, but not on the coast.
Yes.
They tend to be cooler than the coast, but they also tend to be a little bit warmer
Yes.
than the mountain. So
Yes.
a lot of expats live in those places and they love it.
They truly do. They truly do. So there you have it. You can choose either the Andes Mountains for all of the benefits that we've just talked about with you, or you can choose the coast for all of the benefits that we've just went over or you get the choice, like the median choice of places like Ikabamba and Cotacachi.
Yes, and those are typically a little bit smaller than the bigger cities like Quito or Guayaquil or Manta, but they do offer their own level of comfort that some expats may like.
Rather high level, actually. I mean, again, especially Cotacachi and Ikabamba, they have been steadily growing in popularity in recent years. So, there's no one size fit all. You get to make your choice. If you are a U.S. citizen looking at Ecuador, your choice of climate will definitely depend on your lifestyle, your budget, and what you like to do on a day-to-day basis.
And the good thing is you get to pick your life, you get to pick your climate. So, having said this, we do highly advise that when you visit, you go to the mountains, spend some time there, come down to the coast, spend some time here, and maybe spend some time in the middle option and see what works for you and what doesn't work.
Yes, please, because if you're not new to this channel, you will remember hearing me say what looks good on paper. It's like I always say this with every video, what looks good on paper may not fit you, may not fit your lifestyle. This is why we're trying to present as much options, as much information, so you get to make the informed decision for you. For more guides like this, go on ahead and subscribe and check out the next video.